All right, what up, guys? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you again with one more special episode of Gooner Eagle Eye today. Not only because I've decided let's just do a proper full review of the Man United game, I thought I'd bring on Stel with me to actually analyze the game. Him being a Man United fan, and all the time I'm accused of being biased. Like they don't know this isn't an Arsenal channel, so I figured let's get a little bit of equalness in this. So I brought on Stel. Stel, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. Thanks for having
uh,
me on, Chig. You right?
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Yeah, mate. I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine, mate. You know, you said before about your show being your show and whatnot. Um,
Yeah,
it's yours at the end of the day. So don't worry about what other people say. I don't see a problem in
this
it.
is true. This is true. And this is something I'm now beginning to get used to.
Mm,
Is I guess the more kind of people that you have listening to it, the more people. All of a sudden, everyone is an expert on your show.
of course, of
So,
course.
so
Doesn't
yeah.
matter what they say.
But anyway, like literally just going into the game, it is the big one. We are back to business after the England farce of the last game where they
Mm,
played
mm.
Spain. Really, I just kind of wanted to get your idea in terms of United's season and where you feel like they're at the moment in terms of progress.
Uh, where are we in terms of progress? Well, we're doing better than what I thought we'd be.
Okay.
Like, to be 100% honest with you, I mean, forget the amount of money we've spent on players because you're always going to get people saying, "Oh, you spent X amount of money and you should be doing that." And yeah, I understand where they're coming from. When you break the transfer record for a footballer, you expect more. But what people
Mm.
don't understand is that you take Pogba out of United, you take Ibrahimovic, take Mkhitaryan, who's hardly been playing for other reasons, which I'll go into later on, and Eric Bailly, who's now injured. You have the most average squad that Man United have had since before Ferguson took over. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a bad squad, Chig. I'm telling you. What people don't realize is that, yeah, fair enough. You've got De Gea, who's a decent goalkeeper. You've got Mata, who's a very good player. But for the rest of that squad, is awful. It's pony, which is why, as a United fan, I'm worried about the weekend against you guys. And I know you're going to say, well, it's always a 50-50 game with the two. You don't know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. We're going to get torn a new one. I am telling you this now.
Wow.
Mm.
So, in terms of your season and based, because I'll be honest, let me hold my hands up. And you told me immediately I was wrong for thinking that. And I actually, when I saw you guys spending money on people like Pogba and people like Ibrahimovic, and at the time Arsenal had bought no one, you said two things to me. Don't worry, Wenger's going to bring in people. It might be the last week, but Wenger will bring in people. And secondly, United ain't going to do shit. Two things I was thinking about, and I thought to myself, what are you talking about? And so far, you seem to be being proved right. So far.
It's not a surprise though, Cheek, to be honest, because if you look at Wenger's track record in the transfer market, I said before that season you didn't sign anyone. He brought in Mertesacker, he brought in Arteta. Well, I don't think that was the summer he signed Ozil. I think it was the summer before. I think,
Yeah,
and
some of them.
the summer before, right? So it was deadline day. He brought in these players, and whether or not it was to appease the fans or it was to bolster the squad, he did it. And again, you got fourth place. You got your fourth place trophy, but you can't fault the guy for it. People that slate Wenger, I said it before, people that slate Wenger do not understand the restrictions that he's had, the constraints that he's had financially and getting players in. Arsenal have got a wage structure, as do United. Contrary to what people say about the amount of money that we spent this summer, clubs have wage structures and they've got to work within their means. If Wenger wants to sign a player, he has to go through Gazidis, and then Gazidis has to go through, board of directors, and then he goes to Kroenke. So it's not one or two people that are in charge. It's a whole group of people. And I'll say this again, like I keep on saying, if and when Wenger goes, that's when you guys are going to have problems that we've had. Because you bring in a manager, and this manager is going to want to spend 50, 60, 70 million pounds on a player, one player, not a whole group of players.
Mm.
Going to allow it. You don't know. This is what I'm saying with Arsenal fans that are slating Wenger. Be careful what you wish for, Honestly, just be careful what you wish for.
And I must admit, I am often guilty of it. I do get frustrated, but there is always a part of me that says, all right, so we get rid of Wenger, but then who? Who comes in? And what if it doesn't
Well,
work?
but yeah, but it's all ifs and buts. I mean, you're not going to bring in the David Moyes, are you?
Yeah,
Let's be
that's
honest.
true.
The managers that
That's
have
true.
been earmarked to replace Arsene Wenger, Remy Gard, Paul Koeman, who else? So there've been 3 or 4 other managers that people have been saying, yeah, they should. I remember when you went through a
Owen
rubbish.
Coyle.
Oh, yeah, oh, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Owen Coyle. People were saying Owen Coyle. But so these
God.
so-called heirs to the throne, you've seen what they've done at current clubs in the current climate, and Wenger is still reigning supreme. So how can you listen? I take the piss out of Arsenal fans on Twitter because they're easy. They're easy to bite.
Well,
Do you
easy
know
to
what I mean?
wind up.
It's easy. It's easy. I didn't even need to put bite icons or memes or whatever because it's so obvious. But to be fair, you cannot question what he's done, especially for the club. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say, look at the bigger picture because he got the new stadium and this and that, and people will say, oh, but you've only won 2 trophies in 10 years. Fine. But if you look at the clubs that have won trophies and the way that Arsenal have been competing with them, you can't really say he's done too badly, to be fair. You really can't.
Yeah. You can't argue consistency. I will say that. You can't. You can't
Consistently in
say
the
he's a
top
crap
4. So,
system.
well, whoever says Wenger is a crap manager doesn't know what they're talking about because, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I've been a football fan since 85, 86. I was 4 years old when I got into football. So when I started understanding football, say 8 or 9, I saw teams like Liverpool dominating football, Wimbledon winning the FA Cup, Coventry winning the FA Cup, United winning their first FA Cup under Ferguson in 1990. Football was different then. But there was always 3 or 4 teams that were in and around the challenging area, and Arsenal were always there because George Graham had a team full of animals. You had your Dixons, your Winterburns, your Adamses, Steve Bolds, Paul Davis, David Rocastle. The list goes on, and then it kind of like stagnated because football evolved, and George Graham didn't move with the times. Then he brought in players like Glenn Helder and John Jensen, and it just going stale. And then here comes this Frenchman from Japan who no one knows, no one's ever heard of. I think only Gary Lineker knew who he was because he coached him at Grand Passat. And all of a sudden, he's revolutionised Arsenal. He's changed the diets. He's getting the best out of players. And don't forget, players like Tony Adams, who had drug and alcohol addictions, and Paul Merson, he was getting the best out of them. I think Adams was at Arsenal till he was 35, 36 years old. I mean,
all of them have gone on record. All of them have gone on record to say that he prolonged their career.
Then there you go. Then so he obviously did something right. Okay, he's been waning for the past 4 or 5 years, and again, maybe it's a bit of deja vu happening whereby he hasn't moved with the times, but he's still got them challenging. So what do Arsenal fans want? I understand you want titles. I understand you haven't won the league in 12 years, but when you think about it, before George Graham took over at Arsenal, when did they win the league before that?
Well,
when?
Okay, so given that,
look at the history books.
One of the main criticisms leveled at Wenger is, I suppose, if we're looking at Saturday, is the fact that he's never beaten Jose in a competitive game.
Records are there to be broken. Records are there to be broken, and it doesn't matter whether this whole notion that Mourinho has the Indian son of a Wenger is garbage. It's nonsense. It's just that Wenger had Arsenal teams competing against the best Chelsea teams that they've ever had. When Arsenal were going to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea were unbeatable at home. I think they only lost like twice at home under Jose Mourinho. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Arsenal came up against a team of monsters, right? And again, Arsenal, who should have built on that unbeatable season. They should have built on that, to be fair. And I think the main criticism of Wenger is letting players go when they've peaked, or just as they're about to peak, like your Perez's and Henry, and fair enough, there's the back end of their career, but they still had more to offer. And I don't think he kept enough experience in the squad to allow the younger players to develop. That's why players like Van Persie and Fabregas were able to just throw strops and walk out. If someone like Vieira's there, or Gilberto, or okay, even Sol Campbell at a certain extent before he went loopy. I mean, when you've got senior figures in the squad, it filters down. That kind of attitude filters down. And Arsenal didn't have the seniority there. So these younger players who were on extortionate amount of money were being played week in, week out, getting the Billy Big Bollocks, pardon my language, and there was no one there to pull them aside and say, listen, just, realise where you are. This is a team with prestige. This is a team that's unbeatable. We've got a championship to retain. And I think that's another criticism of Wenger. He's never retained the title. He's won it, but he's never done it back to back.
Yeah. Given that, do you feel like tactically he's capable of beating a Jose?
Of course. Listen, everyone's beatable. And United this season, as I've told you before, we're not good. We're not good. So if this is the time to play United, this is the time to beat United. This is the time to beat Jose Mourinho. Like I said, I think it will be a car crash, personally, because I'm looking at our squad again from front to back. And let's say he plays the same back four as he did against Swansea. Right. Ashley Young, Phil Jones, Rojo, and Darmian at left back. Darmian against Theo Walcott. Yeah, an Italian defender that can't defend and has no pace.
What do you think about your injuries at the moment? Like, I didn't realise Man United's defence was so depleted.
Okay, I'm gonna squash a myth right here. There was an article by James Ducker from the Telegraph, and he said there's going to be 7 United players out, as if it's a big deal. Like, there's 7 United players out, and it's an exclusive. Bollocks. He included Eric Bailly, who's going to be out for another month. He included Chris Smalling because he's got a broken toe, and Chris Smalling can't play with a broken toe.
You mean Mike? You mean Mike, right?
I don't care. He's shit. Shoot him. Call him what you want. Changing his first name ain't going to make a difference because Chris Smalling is garbage. He's a non-league player. Case in point, he played 20 games for Fulham before we signed him for £10 million. Where was he before that? Maidstone. He's a non-league player, and he's a fraud. He's conned every manager into believing he's a Premier League player. I don't see it. And you guys have been linked with him, like in the past. I'm not just talking about now. Like apparently Wenger's an admirer of him.
I don't know Jones and Smalling for some weird reason. I don't know why.
Phil Jones is just I don't even know how to explain him, man. Ferguson signed him over Varane. We had the choice of signing Varane or Phil Jones. I don't know. Anyway, and then you got Rojo, who can't defend. He's awful. He really is bad. And again, Alexis Sanchez against Rojo is a mismatch. You've got a player. Sanchez is a very intelligent player. Forget what people say about his low center of gravity and his strength as a small guy, because he's a small guy. He's a very intelligent footballer. Rojo cannot play against intelligent footballers. He's good against the rough and tumble strikers because he doesn't mind mixing it up. He's an Argentinian. They like a bit of rough and tumble kind of thing, But against Alexis Sanchez, he's going to muller him. And then Phil Jones, he's the kind of guy that would rather try and head the ball when it's on the ground instead of clearing it. And then you got Ashley Young. So I can't fault Ashley Young.
You guys,
he's rubbish. He's rubbish. He's rubbish.
Okay.
I'm telling you, how can you be an Italian fullback and not know how to defend? He's not pacey, right? He's left-footed and he'd rather play at right back. I don't know how that works. His tracking back is awful. He ball watches, and the only time he actually has a good game is that when he has someone in front of him like Ashley Young or Lingard that tracks back and supports him or atones for his errors. It's bad. It really is bad.
Right.
And then
let's talk about the positive. Go on. Sorry, go on.
Go on. No. I mean, this injury crisis that we supposed to have. I mean, I mentioned Luke Shaw, Smalling, Eric Bailly. They mentioned Fellaini. Okay, well, is that really going to be a big loss for us? I don't think so. Apart from the aerial threat that he possesses, he's a liability. Then you've got Wayne Rooney, who I can go on for ages about Wayne Rooney. I'm not going to. I'm not going to say anything.
Arsenal. He turns up against Arsenal. He's like Darren Fletcher. I never rated Darren Fletcher at any other time other than whenever we went to Old Trafford. Then all of a sudden he became like the world's best player.
You get players like Hasselbank was like that for us. Do you know what I mean? He used to always score goals against us. But listen, this is Wayne Rooney on his last legs, chick. Honestly, like you saw him in the paper the other day in the Sun, right? About how he got pissed and whatnot. But this is a player in the signs of he knows that he's done and that's it. He knows it's over for him. My friend Phil, who's working in America for Beyond the Pitch, has got a lot of contacts out there. And he's basically found out that Wayne Rooney's agent has been trying to get him moved out there. So he knows his time is up at United. Mourinho doesn't really want him, doesn't fancy him. It's apparent. And as I said, his behaviour the other day smacks of a player that he's given up. He can't be bothered anymore. I mean, let's be honest. What does he need to achieve? I mean, he's got the most goals for England. Okay, there's the Bobby Charlton record to break, but he's not a Man United fan. He doesn't care. So if he doesn't break the record, so what? Like he's the second highest goal scorer for United.
I think I know the answer to this question, but do you consider him a Man United legend?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not
one United fan I know thinks that either.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's not because he's not a good player, chick. It's not because because he's scored goals at the highest level. He's won titles. He's won Champions League. You can't deny that. But when you're the captain of Man United, or when you're the star player of Man United, you don't try and engineer a move to Man City. Okay, you don't. And that's what he did in 2010. He then tried to engineer a move to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you more about this later off air because I don't want you to get sued or anything because I've got some information about it which hasn't come out yet, but that's another story. So he's twice tried to engineer moves away. His attitude stinks. I mean, there's a minute and a half clip of our game against Watford which got Wayne Rooney's best bits, and he's just playing balls out for throw-ins. He's just not in it, Chig, and he knows his time is up. And he just can't be bothered. This is, like I said, it's a sign of a player that knows he's on his last legs. He's got one more big contract, and it's either going to be in America or he's going to go back to Everton. And people say to me, well, would he take a wage cut? Of course he'll take a wage cut. It's a club that he loves. He still supports them. But I can't begrudge him. But at the same time, I'll tell you this. Ever since he did what he did in 2010, whenever United score, whenever he scores, I just like, okay, well, it's just him. I cheer for the team rather than the player.
I get the impression a lot of United fans do that. It clearly broke, and it would do. It clearly broke a lot of hearts. That whole thing.
No, do you know what? It's not like he broke hearts. He did the unthinkable. I mean, remember what Luis Figo did when he joined Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Right. When he went back to the Nou Camp, he went to take a corner. Someone threw a pig's head at him. For fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like in England, we're just too nice about this. It's like, oh, it's okay. Well, let's turn the other cheek, and it's fine. No. It's this. Okay. Well, the Spurs fans burned an effigy. Right? But the difference is he actually moved. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney didn't move. But the fact is he wanted to move. Right? And no matter how much they sugarcoat it and make it out to be like, oh, Ferguson was the saviour. Ferguson made two big mistakes as Man United manager. The first mistake was falling out with the Cornwall Mafia, which then ended up the club being sold to the Glazers, or the shares being bought by the Glazers, and keeping Wayne Rooney. Personally, I'd have let him go. But Ferguson being Ferguson, he didn't want it to seem that Man City were, taking United's crown as the biggest club in England, because that's the statement it would have made. I couldn't care less, to be honest. I mean, bigger players have left United under clouds. Ince, Kanchelskis, Schmeichel. Okay, friend of Schmeichel left on his own accord. Yap Stam. So what's so special about Wayne Rooney? The only reason why United have kept him for this long, I believe, is because he's been marketable. He's an asset to the club, which leads me on to Pogba. When United bought Pogba, people were saying, £89 million is a waste of money. Well, no, from a financial perspective, Paul Pogba is an asset to the club. If you look at the Man United website, the corporate partners page, I mean, there's been another 15 or so partners added to the list since Pogba has arrived. So people are investing money in the club because of one player. Now it's come to a point where Rooney isn't marketable anymore. So we can let him go because we've got a new poster boy. We've got the Adidas poster boy. So it's okay. Granted, it should be about the football. It isn't. But Pogba can have 5, 6, 7, 8 years at United, have 6 rubbish years, and he'll still be lauded by people because he's marketable. He dances whenever he scores. He does stupid videos on Snapchat or whatever. He's marketable. And that's where football's gone these days.
I think so. A lot of people have asked me what my opinion is on Pogba. I honestly don't know what to make of him. I mean, for you guys who are listening to this and don't know, whenever we do these shows, we try and have an agenda to keep on topic. And I just merely titled it "The Mystery Around Paul Pogba," because there is a stat that's going around at the moment that he turns up every 1 in every 4 games. That he never really scored over a 7 out of 10 in Italy, and he's this and he's that. And I don't know if it's just price tag talk or if this is actual factual talk.
Do you know what?
The one thing that's evident is that he's never reached what you would call an exceptional performance. But is he really a write-off? For you, is he your flop? Is he someone that you would consider a flop?
No.
Is it too soon?
He's been at United. What are we now? We're in November, so he's been August, September, October, November. 4 months. If you're going to judge a player on 4 months, then Thierry Henry was rubbish because he was crap for a year.
I agree with that, yeah.
Dennis Bergkamp was rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Pires was rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Cantona was rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
So the list goes on. If he wasn't £89 million, if he didn't leave United and then come back, if he was just like a player that we bought for £5 million from Le Havre, like they did with Kante, would anyone bat an eyelid? No, of course not. But it's the fee, it's the bravado, it's all the Twitter, social media stuff that comes with Paul Pogba. It's the package, it's the way that he's been marketed by Adidas. It's everything. So people hate him even before he's worn a United shirt because there's been so much made about it. I mean, look at they got Stormzy introducing him, for Christ's sake. I mean, if that doesn't smack of just like, how like the peacocks walk around and they open their feathers out to show the world how beautiful they are. That's what United did. They allowed Adidas to do everything and say, right, this is us. And it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Back in the day, it generated interest, it generated revenue, it generated so much hype that there's going to be pressure on the kids to perform. But don't forget, he didn't have a pre-season. So that's an important thing. And anyone that says otherwise is an idiot, because ask any footballer how important a pre-season is to them. Ask Alexis Sanchez how important pre-season was for him last season when he came back from the Copa America, where he was knackered. The first 6 weeks he was training on his own because, he had to get back into the rhythm of things. So it's important for players to have a pre-season, It also is important to note that when Paul Pogba was at Juventus, he had Pirlo and Vidal beside him. Now he's having to play with Herrera and Fellaini or Carrick or Mata in the middle. So he doesn't have a set partner. Now, Mourinho knows exactly what he's doing. Mourinho's come in, he's looked at the squad, he's looked at them in pre-season, he's watched them. I mean, look at the performance against Chelsea. Do you think Chris Smalling is ever going to get a game for United? I don't think so. Because he's at fault for 3 out of the 4 goals. And it's simple defending, standing off and ball watching. Why are you doing this? So he's seen the strengths and weaknesses. He's also pointed out that there's a lot of problems internally, i.e. the mentality of these players. He spoke about culture the other day, how there's a different culture at the club. Like, I know what he was basically getting at. He was having a dig at Van Gaal because certain players have got away with murder under Van Gaal. For example, Schweinsteiger. Schweinsteiger was Van Gaal's favourite. He let him go see his missus, who's a tennis player. Players were complaining. Why is this guy getting preferential treatment? A lot of the players, in fact, the strikers, were encouraged or told not to shoot first time. They were always told to take a touch and then shoot. Now, I'm sorry, but you're just taking the instinct out of the players. So there's little things here and there that, as I said, Mourinho was talking about the culture, the behaviour of these players. Mourinho's going about things the right way, in my opinion. The first thing he had to do was get Rooney and Carrick on side because they're the 2 senior English players. They're the ones in the dressing room that give it all of this.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. The second thing he did spot on was to get the Spanish on his side. He got Romero on his side, De Gea, Rojo, Mata, Herrera. These are big players that basically had a massive part in Van Gaal's demise because he upset the apple cart. He he cast Victor Valdez to one side, and Victor Valdez was very well liked by the players. So they're just down tools, and it just came to the point where, us as fans were watching it thinking, well, where are the leaders in this team? No one, is grabbing players by the scruff of the neck and saying, right, this is Man United Football Club. We're not meant to be playing like this. We're not meant to be going 9 games without a win. We're not meant to be going 8 games without a goal. It's ridiculous. But again, with Mourinho, he's also kicking some ass. Players like Martial, who was crying that he lost the number 9 shirt and had to get the number 11 shirt. I mean, what is this? What's this stupidness? Mkhitaryan played
what is the deal
first half against City.
What is going on there?
Well, the fact of the matter is he played rubbish against City. Did he come back from it? I think he came back from an injury. He came back from an injury on international duty, and then he played him against City. And then he had a rubbish half. He took him off. They had an argument at the end of the game. Mkhitaryan handed in a transfer request. Mourinho said, think about this because I don't mind selling you, kind of thing, with the way that you're behaving. He wasn't happy with the way that Mkhitaryan was applying himself in training. Hence the reason why, he hauled him off against thing, and hence the reason why he hasn't been playing him. But Mkhitaryan is now saying the right things. He's coming out in the media. And it's incredible how now, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, players were unhappy. Luke Shaw's brother was coming out on Twitter saying, Mourinho doesn't know what he's doing. But now Luke Shaw is videoing himself, training in his own house, doing like cross-training, what the fuck he's doing. It's almost as if the mentality has switched now. They know not to mess around because he's not afraid to get rid of players, Chig. That's the difference. Van Gaal was keeping players. Moyes just didn't have a clue what he was doing. Only Ferguson had that ruthlessness. Now we have a manager that doesn't give 2 fucks who he upsets. And that's what we need. We need a bastard.
So I'm curious then, going into the game, who would be your ideal starting lineup? With the players
if everyone was fit?
No.
We've got available.
Yeah.
We've got, okay. Now you're asking something. I would probably go with, this is tough. It really is tough because I don't feel comfortable with that back 4 against Swansea. I'd have to go with the same back 4 because who else are we going to play? Who else are we going to play? I mean, would I rather see Daley Blind instead of Phil Jones? No, because Daley Blind is crap. He's awful. I said it on the show the other week. People say that Daley Blind, has an excellent brain. Okay, well, so does Stephen Hawking, but you wouldn't play him at your club, would you? So, I don't understand, So, okay, the back 4 would have to be the same. The midfield, I'd go with Carrick, Herrera, and Pogba.
Okay.
I think Carrick is a fantastic footballer, regardless of what people say. I would probably put Mata wide right. I'd probably put him wide right against Monreal. I'll put him because Bellerin is very quick, so he's one of these defenders where he can make mistakes, but his quickness can make up for it. Do you know what I mean?
I say Bellerin
he's got a couple of
ankle injury, so it could be Jenkinson.
Listen, don't pay no attention. Don't. This is my advice to you. When you see doubtful, ignore it because I have fitness tests. I mean, he's probably going to have it. Listen, he probably did take a knock. He probably did, but I think that he's probably come back. He's going to get a bit of physio, go have a painkilling, cortisone injection, painkilling, and he'll be fit on the game. He'll be fit on the day. Okay, fair enough. He'll be in pain afterwards, but whatever, And so yeah, he'll play. Ibrahimovic is suspended, which I think is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, so do I. For you guys.
Sorry?
For you guys, I think that's a blessing in disguise.
But for us, yeah. Shall I tell you why? Because, yeah, I know he's a good player, and he scored 2 against Swansea, but he needs a rest, Chig. He's knackered, right? And I know he's retired from international football, which is cool, so he's had this week off, but he'll need an extra week because games are going to come thick and fast. Don't forget, he's never played in a league where there hasn't been a winter break, right? So he's played in Spain, in Italy, and in Holland, in France. They have 2 weeks off, 10 days or whatever, Out here, he's going to be playing week in, week out, and then you've got the FA Cup to start in January. So he needs this break, and 2 weeks is going to be fine. I think I could see Rashford and Martial playing up front with Mata. Rooney, I don't think Rooney I know Mourinho gave him a bollocking for being pissed. Again, I'm not going to go into that. That's the lineup I'll go with. I'll go with the 4-4-2-3-1.
I'd be very worried with Rashford playing from an Arsenal perspective.
Why? He can't play 90 minutes. He can't play 90 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't trust Mustafi. I'll be honest. I think Mustafi,
Really?
for all the praise people give him, and I know Arsenal fans will shit on me for this, I've seen him get a run around two crucial times. One was the Tottenham game where I forget his name. The Asian dude that plays for Tottenham.
Oh, Son.
Yeah, Son. Gave him the complete run around. Just the same way that Cavani gave him the run around when we played PSG. And intelligent players and their movements seem to catch him out. And that worries me because that tells me that he doesn't have a footballing brain. He doesn't know how to read the game and the way a player is trying to pull him to the side. So that worries me, especially if he's up against Rashford. But I think my team would probably be Czech back in goal, Bellerin if he's fit, Jenkinson if he's not. I have to go with Mustafi, even though I'm criticising him. Koscielny, Monreal, fuck Gibbs. Monreal has to come back in. I think you put Theo up front on the right, I should say. I think you go, this is where it gets controversial, but I think you go Coquelin and Xhaka. I think if Santi is fit, I still think you start him on the bench. I think you've got to match up physically with you guys. I think Ozil is number 10's role, of course. You've got to go Iwobi on the left. And then you've got to go Alexis up front. I'm not hearing this Giroud stuff. I don't want to hear Giroud up front. That would be my ideal lineup against you guys.
The thing is, with Giroud, you cannot rule him out. He's in the form of his life at the moment. I remember last season he went like 12 games without scoring a goal, and people were saying, "Oh, he's rubbish." And I was saying, "Listen, he's a decent player. He's a decent player, but he's a confidence player. All strikers are confidence players, and
he's a Plan B player." Yes.
But see, this is the thing. This is something that you haven't had in a long time. You haven't had a Plan B in a long time. I said this a while ago when Liverpool came close to winning the league. If they didn't sell Andy Carroll, they'd have won the league because there were games. There were games that they needed that presence up front, and Giroud has that. He's strong. He's clever. And he's one of these strikers that he'll get you a goal from nothing. Fair enough, he misses opportunities, but so do all the best strikers miss opportunities. Andy Cole missed a lot of chances. Shearer missed a lot of chances. He's a good player. And that's the thing. If you guys are losing and you bring him on, I'll be worried because he'll be up for it. He's got a point to prove. And again, the physical presence that he possesses, I don't think Phil Jones would handle it, to be fair.
I think your defenders will handle a physical battle. Pace, I think they may worry.
The pace. See, that's the thing. The pace will destroy us, no doubt about it. And I think that's what it will do. I think it will play a counter-attacking game against us because we commit a lot of players forward in attacks.
Yeah, and I've seen that. And you guys don't like running around that much. I'll be honest.
Because
you play in bursts.
They don't like running around a lot because they can't keep up. It's that simple, But the thing is, Chig, it's like when I look at what we've got at the moment, and you mentioned Xhaka, right? Xhaka, for me, is a liability for Arsenal. He's a cracking footballer. Do not get me wrong. He's very intelligent. His range of passing is fantastic. He's got a great shot on him. Brings players into the game. But up here, he's not all there, man.
I've said that before on previous preview videos that as good of a player as he is, it does worry me about his temperament. I was hesitant.
He's been sent off like 8 times in 3 years or something, isn't he?
Yeah. It's a ridiculous. Even Wenger's come out and said that his disciplinary record worries him. I was hesitant about the idea of him starting against Tottenham, to be honest, because of all games, that's the last game that we need him to have a hot head and get himself sent off. But he did all right, to be honest. He didn't do anything spectacular, but at least he didn't get himself sent off either. I think this game makes
it would have been different.
A little bit better, just because I think he can dictate the tempo a little bit more.
The thing is, against Spurs, I think it would have been different if Dele Alli was playing. If Ali was playing, then I think O'Reilly would have started.
100%, because Dele Alli is another hothead, and he's the type of person that can wind up other players as well. So, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Which is why I think if Fellaini's fit and Xhaka starts, Fellaini will play.
Yeah, I could see that. But he's not that strong of a player given his size, Blaney. I'm not really sure what on earth he's good for.
All elbows. He's all elbows, mate. But the thing is, listen, I'm not his biggest fan. I've slayed him. I've called him, a £30 million bog brush. But he's got a nasty side in him, and we haven't got players like that anymore. If you look at that '94 team at United, right, that won the double. Peter Schmeichel, nasty streak. Steve Bruce, nasty streak. Paul Parker had a bit of a streak in him. Keane, Ince, Claire had a bit of a streak in him. Cantona, Mark Hughes. You'd win the game in the tunnel before the kickoff because the opposition will look at your players. You're like, shit, they're either going to outplay us or they're going to bully us. United haven't had that in years. I'm thinking like, when was it last time we had a bit of a physical presence in the team? Maybe 2008. When we had the likes of Tevez, Rooney, who was in his prime, Vidic, Rio Evra, he could mix it up a bit. Van der Sar, big guy. So you look at the United team in the tunnel. I'm looking at wussies. I'm looking at David De Gea, who nicks donuts. I'm looking at Rojo, who's a bit of a crybaby, who has his hair done before every game. I'm looking at Luke Shaw, who's got a pizza obsession. I'm looking at, just looking all around this squad, and I'm like, Jose knows what he's doing. He's going to get rid of a lot of the deadwood. He's going to get rid of a lot of the fannies as well.
So that was what I was going to go on to. Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel for United?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
How long do you think it will take for you guys to get there?
It's difficult to say because Mourinho has to get rid of players to bring in now. It's come to a point now where he needs to get rid of players. But, who's going to want to spend on Schneiderlin and then give him $100,000 a week? Who's going to want to buy Rojo? Who's going to want to buy Jones? Who's going to want to buy Smalling? These players, they're not putting themselves in the shop window. If you're thinking, as a footballer, that your time is up at a club. The fans are turning against you. The manager doesn't want you. And this is the problem these days with footballers. And I'm talking about, I sound like my dad now. So this is the problem. In any job in the world, tell me where the employees have power over the employers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in footballers too. So, you got players like Smalling and this and that, and they can afford to sit on their asses and take their dogs for a walk while their teammates are training. It's a disgrace. But, as I said, they can sit there and say, oh, well, I'm happy to sit here and get my $100,000 a week and not worry about what the fans think or what the players think. It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. And even if they sell the player, if the player doesn't want to leave and they still sell him, they have to pay off the rest of their contract. So where does that leave you?
So do you still have faith in Jose?
Of course. Because he's the one that we should have got when Ferguson retired. But Bobby Charlton stuck his oar in. Ferguson wanted David Moyes and, they got what they wanted. But now, Jose Mourinho is here. Ferguson isn't around much. He's just in the stands, watching games. And Bobby Charlton had the North Stand named after him. So, the South Stand named after him. So, he can shut his mouth now and he stays away from team affairs. It's all about Jose and his team now. And we've got to back him. Because when you look at the two previous managers that we had, David Moyes didn't have any credentials worthy to be Man United manager. And Louis van Gaal, granted, he won the Champions League. He did very well at Bayern Munich, Barcelona, yada, yada, yada. His ideas were dated. They're archaic. The type of football that we played wasn't the Man United way. And listen, contrary to what people think, there is a way. Each club has a tradition. Each club has a way of playing. I wasn't around in the 70s, but from what I've been told, United's football was aesthetically pleasing on the eye. United weren't successful, but they were playing nice football, and I think that's what the fans appreciate. They appreciate effort. We appreciate good football, and we just want to be able to see our team week in, week out and say, right, the players put in 100%. A couple of weeks ago, I went to FC United, right, which is the team that was founded by the fans in 2005. Yeah, my mate Rodri Giggs, he's a coach there, right? So I went up there, met up with him, whatnot. I had a great day out. It's a non-league team. There's only 2,000 people, but how football was in the 80s, where you'd go to a game and you knew that you're going to have a good time and you're going to go home and win, lose or draw. you still have a smile on your face. Like, you know what, I'm going to go back because I saw some people who had a good time. You know, the fun element of football is going because money has dominated everything. But, you know, here's me, a Man United fan, you know, seeing my club spending £89 million complaining about money.
So, given everything you've said, I was going to say, do you have any revised expectations? But to be honest, as you said, you're about where you expected United to be. So where do you feel you'll finish at the end of the season?
Right now, it's difficult to say because we won our first game in 4 the other day. So I'm kind of hoping that our season starts now. The thing is, we've got City out of the way. We're getting Euro out of the way. I think we've got Spurs December the 11th. But it's not about beating the top 6, about the top 5 or the top 4. It's about winning the other games. Against Stoke, we should have been 6 or 7-0 up in the first half. Couldn't put away our chances. Yeah. Against Burnley, we had 37 chances. Yeah. And, you know, it's games like this where you're thinking we should be burying these chances. But the thing is, on the flip side, I'm comparing it to last season. How many times did we actually have shots on goal in the first half? I mean, we didn't score a goal in the first half for half a season. I mean, I used to have a season ticket behind that goal. And I'm thinking about it, if I still had a season ticket then, I'd be pissed off. I had to wait 6 months to see a fucking goal there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, what would you say your favourite and worst moment of the Man United versus Arsenal fixture is? I know my 2 straight away, by the way.
Well, your 2 favourite?
My favourite and my worst. I've got a lot of worsts, as you can imagine.
Okay, is your favourite Viltord's goal that won at Old Trafford by any chance?
Damn right.
Right.
Damn right.
And your worst, it could be one of 3. I'm gonna go with the 8-2.
It was the 8-2.
Right. Okay.
The 8-2. If I was the type of person that could cry over certain things, I would have cried over that game. I felt so depressed. It was unbelievable. Well, what was your favourite and worst moment?
Oh, my favourite has to be the semi-final, FA Cup semi-final.
The Giggs goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's arguably the greatest FA Cup semi-final in history, really. If you want to talk about drama, I'm not talking about it just because United doing, but, you know, the whole drama about it. I think my next favourite game would be the Palace when they beat Liverpool 4-3 in 1990, but that's nothing. But my worst... Do you know what? I'm not even going to go with the 1-0 from Wiltord because we were crap the back end of that season. So I think that season you didn't lose a game away from home. Worst Arsenal, the Overmars one. The Overmars win in 98.
98. Yeah.
That one really hurt because we were depleted. Like we had, you know, I mean, Schmeichel went off injured like with 10 minutes to go. And we threw away the title that season. Don't get me wrong, you guys won it because you won like 8 games 1-0 on a trot or something like that. But the way that we threw that title away, I mean, I was like 17 at the time, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't meant to happen, you know? And yeah, the Overmars one definitely when he skinned Gary Neville. That was the first time I've seen Gary Neville actually like put on his ass. Yeah, literally. And then that geezer in the crowd that was celebrating. I'm like, oh my days, if I ever see this guy, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But you know, that's football, man. It's full of ups and downs, and you got to take the good with the bad at the end of the day. And it's memories, you know. Listen, regardless of what people say, Man United and Arsenal are not rivals. They're not rivals. You know, Man United's rivals are Liverpool, Leeds, and Man City. They're the 3 main rivals.
Yeah.
There's a rivalry, but they're not rivals. If you think about it, the Arsenal United rivalry was only, 4 years, if that? I mean, you got 98, 99, sorry, 97, 98, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2003, 2004. I wouldn't say 2003, 2004 was. Sorry?
It was more about Ferguson and Wenger, and I guess they're trying to build it up to be Jose versus
But that's Sky. But that's what Sky Sports did. They tried to make it Ferguson against Keegan, but then Ferguson made Keegan cry live on television. So that was a non-starter, you know. But the battle between Wenger and Mourinho, see, with Wenger and Ferguson, there was a mutual respect there. You know, even though there was the whole Pizzagate thing, even though there was the whole, because you know how Pizzagate started, right?
Yeah. I've heard a few different versions. Let me hear your one.
Well, Ferguson got wind at half time that Arsenal players were wearing 50 unbeaten t-shirts underneath their kit. So that if you lot drew or won, they'd have told them to take their shirts off and show it for the crowd. So at the end of the game, Ferguson said to his players, go ask them to swap shirts so you can mug them off, basically. Do you know what I mean? And that's when it all kicked off in the changing room when Fabregas threw pizza at Ferguson or something, and that's it. That's how it kicked off.
The one reason I will still like Fabregas is for that moment. So,
well, listen, Cesc Fabregas isn't the perfect role model for an Arsenal player, to be honest. I mean, this is the guy that cried wolf and wanted to leave to join Barcelona and stamped his feet to do so and threatened not to come back. So, you know, if a player did that to us, you know, like Rooney did, I wouldn't welcome him back. But anyway, that's a different thing. With Ferguson and Wenger, there was always that mutual respect. You know, they were of the old school. You know, raised with values and, you know, coming from the school of hard knocks, so to speak. Mourinho here has achieved so much at a young age as a manager. I think like only his third season as manager or second season as manager of Porto, he won the treble. I mean, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Then he wins the treble with Inter Milan. You know, he comes to Chelsea, he wins the league in his first season, wins it back to back. And there wasn't really any animosity between them two until the back end of the second season. Chelsea won the league when he called Wenger a voyeur. And that's when it all really kicked off. But I don't know. I just think that it's the same with the Guardiola Mourinho rivalry. You know, there wasn't really anything there. I mean, yeah, they might not get on, but it's not as if, you know, they text each other and, you know, I'm going to kill you, I hate you, or, you know, it's garbage. It's just hype. It's nonsense. They're going to shake each other's hands before and after the game, and that's it. That's how it's going to be. You know, and that's how it should be.
So predictive scores, final thoughts about the game?
Oh, crikey. Do you know what? Last season, you know, when we went with Rashford up front, I actually put a fiver on Arsenal to win by 4 clear goals.
All right.
And that went wrong. I'm going to go with the same. I think Arsenal will win. I'll say 3-1 or 4-1.
Flip me. You got no faith.
3-1 or 4-1. Yeah.
I
don't because I don't because I look at that back four, Chig. If we had Eric Bailly and maybe Valencia, because Antonio Valencia, he's not a right back, but he's quick, he's physical, he reads the game well. Yeah. At right back, if Darmian plays at right back, you know, Iwobi's going to skin him, and then you got Dali Blind at left back, and then Walcott's going to skin him. So again, the pace and the power of Arsenal going forward, it's going to be too much. It's going to be too much, you know, and it could be car crash TV for United. I'm going to wait for the first half. If we're losing by 2 at half time, I'm going to, you know, put songs of praise on or something. Actually, I'm going to be in Milan. I'm going to be in Milan on Saturday. Actually, so
I was going to say it's Saturday afternoon, midday as well.
I'll be in Milan.
As you, confident. You're not confident at all, your team. But I'm nowhere near as confident about Arsenal. I'll be honest. I think I'll know within the first 15 minutes what type of game it will be. I don't want it to be a draw, so I'm not going to predict a draw. I'm going to try and be confident. 1, but I think
okay, I'll give you that.
I think if we beat you all over doing it, like I don't think it'll be as convincing as Chelsea. I hope it is, but I don't think it'll be as convincing as our Chelsea victory. So we'll see.
My friend, you have probably the most creative football on the planet at the moment. You know, so.
And that's the reason I'm backing off the win instead of drawing. but other than that, I don't know. A half-fit Sanchez, I don't know. We'll see.
No, you never know.
But that's pretty much it from us two guys. You guys let us know what you think about the game and what your starting lineup will be. Stel, let the people know about your show and where they can follow you if they want to follow you.
Okay, I host a football show called Shoot the Defence. You can follow us on Twitter at Shoot the Defence. We're on Audio Boom, iTunes. We're on the FNX network. What else? TuneIn Radio, anything, any Stitcher, any other good platforms that have football podcasts. We're up for awards at the Football Blog Awards. The final is tomorrow. at Old Trafford, funny enough.
Oh.
So I'm going to be driving up there tomorrow morning. So we are in the final of the best football podcast category for 2016, which is an amazing achievement, bearing in mind that we're up against people like the Sun Dream Team. For some reason, the kid from In Betweeners is on it. I don't know. Yeah, so here we are, like a podcast that I do it in my living room up against the Sun and the Anfield Rap, who've got like 100 million followers on Twitter and whatnot. So yeah, and on Saturday, I mentioned I'm going to Milan. I'll be meeting Paolo Maldini's son's agent because we might be getting him on the show pretty soon. So onwards and upwards, my friend.
So as you can tell, guys, it's a pretty big fucking deal. That's basically what he said.
Kind of. Not yet. Stay
and it
humble,
is a good
mate.
listen.
Stay humble.
Genuinely, guys. I listen to it a lot of the time on the way to work, headphones in, and usually download it from Stitcher. So it is a really good listen. Do ever listen to it and Google it and do follow him on Twitter. As you guys can see, you can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. And that's me done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And from an Arsenal perspective, let's hope for the best. And I hope Stel is correct. That's all I can say. And hunt Liverpool down if Robbie's listening. Yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for you.
Listen, I'll just be happy to finish above Liverpool and City. It's not going to happen, but I'll be happy.
All right, people. I'm out. Take care. Peace.